Content created using the Assima Training Suite can be deployed to end users via the Assima Training Portal. This is a lightweight interface that can be placed directly on an end user's machine or onto an intranet or web server. It's template driven, so it can be branded with your company colours, fonts and logo. On the left there are multiple outputs. These were all created from a single application capture and dynamically generated for use in different situations. The sandbox output creates a virtual training client and can be used in a classroom situation, replacing the need for a live training environment. The cloned application looks and acts like a replica of the live system. Hovering the mouse over items will display their tooltips. Edit fields are active and the user can type in them directly. It isn't a flat screenshot, but contains dynamic, lifelike looking content. Drop-downs can be opened and the options available explored. The environment looks essentially like a live Salesforce environment, with the exception of a small overlay at the top, which says Closed Sandbox. This is added to the top of the clone to indicate it's a training environment. It's typically used in an instructor-led training event where additional guidance would be given on what's happening in each screen, what the objectives are, and which steps need to be performed. Unlike many authoring tools where the lesson is a linear path that must be followed exactly, a cloned training environment is able to be built up to give the user options and alternate paths that they can follow. The author could choose to give different data options to show different result sets. The amount of flexibility given to the user is determined by the author creating the content. In the sandbox you can really see the differences between the interactivity of a clone compared to a screenshot tool, as there are many possibilities to fully explore the screen and highlight different areas. Any available environment is able to be cloned: production, QA, dev or test. The data captured is that from the environment used, but this can be edited later to use an alternative dataset, to use data familiar to the targeted user, or to protect sensitive data from a production system. The guided practice mode uses the same clone as the sandbox, with its full interactivity and active controls. However, it has an additional layer on top, which takes the place of the instructor, so the clone becomes a fully self-contained e-learning course that people can take at their convenience. The message layer instructs them what they need to do at each step. The message box uses full HTML, so as well as text, hyperlinks, images, video or voiceovers can also be added. The advantage of laying the message on top of the clone is that it can be moved and the screen explored as the user completes the task. There is also remediation included if the learner performs the wrong action several times. The first time it will say that the action is not allowed. The second time it will show a laser and a screenshot of what the user should be doing. And the third time the action will be performed for them so that they don't get frustrated. Those numbers are all fully configurable. The user's performance is captured in both the practice and evaluation modes, but the evaluation mode in particular is designed for testing after the user has practiced a particular scenario a few times. In this situation, the user is expected to do the task themselves. The message box has a section called a statement, which is accessible at all times and can be used to store the data they'll need during the scenario. This is used in place of guiding step-by-step messages that we saw in the practice mode. During the evaluation, the user is expected to know what to do, and their actions are tracked at each point if they make an error or if they ask for help. At the end, a summary of their performance is displayed: how much help they requested, if they made mistakes, and the time they took to complete the task. This is the information that can be passed back to any learning management system that is SCORM or AICC compliant. There are also several accompanying documentation output modes. The online help is a basic job aid. It's interactive and each section has a full screenshot to give context, and each action within that screen has a targeted screenshot to show exactly what must be performed at each stage. In addition to this, there's a printable synopsis, a single-sided reference card, and a user manual and PowerPoint set, which could be used in a classroom situation. All of the screenshots here were generated automatically during the capture of the clone, so no work needs to be done manually afterwards. Like all the output modes, it's fully template driven, so you can change the look and feel to match your company branding. The different modes were all generated from a single capture, and can be used in different combinations to tailor a learning experience right for your user.